which I believe you are a very big fan of, Bowie, aren't you?
I am a big fan of this. So, a bit of competition out of the way, all the competitive stuff's done. We're going to go a bit more to some game demonstrations live on the stage. We have a very, very special guest all the way from Nintendo of Europe who's come over to showcase this game. I'm a huge fan of this series. First of all, I will bring our guest up, Mr. Filippo Gisolfi from Nintendo of Europe.
Make some noise for Filippo! Hey, Filippo.
He's always here looking after us at in the UK. So, Filippo, I love this game, and
I know.
And you love it too.
Yeah.
We're going to be showcasing what game, sir?
So this is going to be a showcase of Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past.
Oh, wow.
So, for those of you who don't know too much about Dragon Quest as a whole, it's one of those series that didn't always get localized to the West. This is the first time that Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past, is coming to the PAL region. The original was, of course, in Japan and in America only, so this is our first chance to see it, unless you, of course, imported. But
No. It's also the best version of the game, of course, because the game has been completely remade to fit Nintendo 3DS. But how about we just play away?
let's go for
Let's
it.
do it.
Yep.
So, we are going to get this set up. Filippo is going to be taking us through, of course, this fantastic new game of Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past. And we are just going to sit and enjoy the master at play. Filippo
So,
knows a lot about this fantastic game.
So who here, either on the floor here, in the room, or you guys at home, who here is a big Dragon Quest fan?
Do we
Play a
have
lot of the
Dragon
series?
Quest fans out there?
Yeah, shout out your favourite game in the series.
Dragon
We've got-
Quest, which one?
We've got some 9s,
Nines.
Any
okay.
eights?
Eights.
any 6s.
How about the original?
Any 6s, good man. Dragon Quest 6 is my personal favourite.
Okay.
7 is well known for being one of the longest entries into the series. I think it sported, I think, a 100+ hour story alone before we decided to get into anything else. Of course, there are those who finish in under, but
Okay.
on average.
Yeah. So maybe you can talk a little bit about the premise of the storyline of Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past.
So, in Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past, you love it when I say the entire title, don't
Yes.
you? I have to say the entire
It's a
thing.
new subtitle as well.
Of course, yes, it is a new subtitle. All the kind of remakes have had this. In this game, our main character, Orsa, travels around the world, and he encounters these villages, these areas, these continents that are basically plagued with either some kind of something's going wrong in their area. And what you need to do is touch these fragments, and they send you back into the past. And so you can basically find out what happened in the past, right that wrong to create a brand new and correct future for the present day.
Exactly. So at the beginning of the game, our protagonist lives on an island, and every inhabitant of that island believes that that's the only landmass that exists in this planet made of water. And just before the part that we were showing you, we found one of these stone tablets, and we were teleported in a place that nobody of our party has ever seen before. Now, if you can get the game image.
If we can get the... do we have the footage? I think we do. It's not up there, but... So yeah, we're just going to be taking you through different segments of the demo we have live here at Hyper Japan. We have 3 different segments. We're going to be having a look at 2 of them, or all 3?
Give me the keys.
We're just going to sort out a few technical things whilst... Well, whilst we have this...
Let me just check.
Filippo's just going to sort out the capture unit, so whilst we're doing this. But yes, as we said, we're just going to be just after the point where we touch our first fragment and go into a location or time that the characters have never seen before, and they have to figure out what's going wrong in order to right the wrong in their present day. How are we doing? It's okay, we'll take some time.
Some cable pulling. There we go.
You all good? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Come on. There we go, we got it.
let me get the right one.
There we go, we got
Okay.
the right 3DS and the right... There we go, good. Perfect,
So-
so here we go.
So the first thing we can notice when we compare this to the original game that came out back in 2000 is that the graphics of the game have been completely remade. The original game was mostly sprite-based. Instead now, Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past on Nintendo 3DS is completely 3D with a camera that I can control freely.
You can instantly see the new lighting effects as well in action, just showing the way they've kind of enhanced everything about this game.
You see a lot better the character design of Akira Toriyama, which is the main character designer of the entire Dragon Quest franchise, but is also more famous for creating the Dragon Ball manga and anime.
One thing also as well is that if you played something along the lines of Dragon Quest IX, you'll notice that they went for more of that kind of sprite-based kind of chibi 3D models, but they've kind of just elongated it a little bit to be more kind of like lifelike models as well.
Exactly.
Akin to previous titles such as Dragon Quest VIII.
Surely. Also, so just to speak a bit about where we are now, what happened is in this area that I don't really know where it is at the moment, all the female villagers have been kidnapped. So that's the problem that afflicts Balli Molly, which is the name of this village. The English has been completely retranslated compared to the original version.
When Garbo was called Rough, I was like, hey.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, like the villagers here lost a bit their will to live. You can see them; they're just sleeping on half-destroyed houses. Our objective is to go and rescue the kidnapped inhabitants, basically. So another big change that we can see as soon as we get out of the city is that compared to the original game, there are no more random encounters. So all the enemies are visible on the map, and you're free to engage them by running into them or trying to run away from them. I just need to attack this guy because he's one of my favorite Dragon Quest enemies.
Which is kind of like when you look at things like Dragon Quest IX, Sentinels of the Starry Sky, it had that as well.
Exactly, so it makes it a bit more modern. It makes it a bit more in line with what modern gamers expect from a JRPG. No more random encounters. Yeah. So, of course, the fights are turn-based. Now I've set my companions to act automatically just for the purpose of the presentation, but you're of course able to control fully each character and give them orders. I love the aubergine. It's like a evil...
Aubergine in WoW, yes.
Yeah, it's an evil aubergine.
For those of you who don't know too much about a lot of translation when it comes to Dragon Quest, it's usually very, very British and using a lot of
name puns.
Yeah, name puns first of all, but also every single area is very unique, and you can tell what kind of area you're in because they're very, very good at translating the accent.
Exactly.
The accents come through in the character's speech. So when you say speak to either Bianca or Bianca from Dragon Quest V, Hand of the Heavenly Bride, you know what kind of village she's from. She's very West Country, and that's very, very apparent here as well.
Just like here in the village where we were, everybody spoke with a Scottish accent, for example. So now my objective is to reach the tower that you can see on the right side of the touchscreen, and that's where the female villagers are kept, the people that have been kidnapped. So now that I get here we are in the tower. This is really also the first dungeon that you find in the game in a way, and we have this stone golem.
Stone golem, yeah.
That is sort of like a mini boss. He's also a typical enemy of the Dragon Quest franchise. Is that me? I don't know.
It's okay.
So now we would need to fight this stone golem. So and then get into the tower proper, which is, as I said, the first dungeon. And when you finish the tower, we will find the sorcerer that has kidnapped the villagers. But I'm fairly sure that our viewers and people here are familiar with turn-based combat, and therefore.
It's very nice and dynamic as well, because a lot of older Dragon Quest games didn't tend to show the character sprites in battle. That was something that kind of came along with Dragon Quest VIII. But here you can see your characters acting, and you can see them interacting with the enemy.
That's also something that's part of the remake that wasn't part of the original game that makes the game again a bit more modern. So now I'm actually not going to show you the entire dungeon because that's a bit long. I'm just going to load a different save file that shows what happens after we finish this dungeon. Okay. So here we go.
So it's not as simple as just one thing is wrong. You have to go through a series of quests in each kind of past. There's not just one thing afflicting. Sometimes they're a lot simpler, but every single unique issue is kind of its own little contained story that helps build to a wider, wider story arc.
You're spoiling the story. No, I'm joking.
I said nothing about the story. I could mention the last boss final name if you want.
So that's part of the main flaw of Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past, which makes it really unique compared to other Dragon Quest games, which is the fact that each individual area that you rescue when you time travel has its own individual storyline. So it's actually very well suited for a portable experience, for example.
So instead of having to deal with one overarching story that you need to consistently be aware of, you can just deal with one small segment and kind of just keep it focused in like smaller areas, and then you can move on to the next, move on to the next.
Precisely. So now we have completed the tower. We have rescued the the female villagers that were kidnapped, and you see here little girls playing around, very happy.
All the men are happy.
Exactly. The lady is not so happy about the old guy hitting on her, but apart from that, everybody else is happy. The village is starting to get rebuilt. So we have solved the problem that was afflicting this area, the village of Ballymolly, right? And therefore, I am free to try to go back from where I came from, which is through this forest. Let me just turn the camera around. And of course, there are no enemies anymore here, because as I said, I've solved the problem of this place.
Yeah, enemies tend to only inhabit the areas when there is the issue going on. When it's fixed, you kind of clear the enemy.
Well, it depends. In many cases, yes, yeah.
But not always. It's very important. There is also a big. What I did like about Dragon Quest VII as well is it did add a nice little element of puzzling as well. There was a dungeon just next to the tower called the Rainbow Mines.
Yes.
And in there's a nice kind of like color and like pushing puzzle that kind of just stretches the way in which you engage with Dragon Quest.
Exactly. So now I'm just going to skip a bit of the text, but our characters are asking themselves, what was that happened? Did we dream? Was it a collective hallucination? Where were we? Because as I said before, up until this point in the game, they all believe to be in the only place that exists in the world. So, and this is really the main game flow of the game of Dragon Quest VII. It's what makes the title unique, as I was saying. The fact that, as this little fairy is explaining, our characters actually time traveled. They found a stone tablet. They brought it to this temple, and that made them travel in the past in a location that does not exist in their present, because it stopped existing when they had that problem. So by time traveling and solving their problem in the past, we now give a new future or present, in this case, to Ballymolly, and therefore that island pops up in our present. So they discovered that it's not the only landmass, the one where they live in. It's just that they need to rescue the entire world, and little by little they will eventually form entire continents by doing so.
So literally discovering an entire world by bringing it back from the brink in the past.
And also, like, if you go back to that island now, they will talk about what you did in the past as basically it's a legend that is part of their history. All of the villagers there are not the ones that we found when we were in the past. They're
descendants.
Descendants, yes, sorry. So this is just a very, very brief presentation about Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past. There are really tons of other features that have been added compared to the original game from 2000. And like, for example, there is a new Street Pass feature that has been added, where you can find additional stone tablets that give you remixed dungeons. So dungeons with enemies and bosses from other Dragon Quest games that you can complete and then level up so that they become harder, and then you can share them with others via Street Pass. Keep on sharing them with others. There are, in the game, there are about almost 50 classes. You can also give monster classes to your party members. And for example, I can assign the slime class to a party member, and he will look like a slime when I'm running around in the warm-up and I'm fighting in battles. There is a monster farm where you can, recruit monsters, for example, and it's really a huge, huge game. It's one of the biggest JRPG games ever made.
Sure, I mean, when it first came out, it did kind of wow people with just how much content was packed into it. And obviously there's a lot more here on the 3DS version.
Exactly.
So, is that the end of our demonstration?
Yes,
Yeah?
I just wanted to show like what really makes this Dragon Quest title different compared to all the other ones, and showcase the new graphics, of course.
Well, it is looking fantastic, and you know, having played the original and kind of seeing what it originally looked like, to see it in this kind of way, it's kind of what a lot of players who play original games or like retro games kind of really want to see. They want to see the games they know and love from back then reimagined in these beautiful 3D ways.
And you know, it's more modern, more streamlined as well. There are a lot of changes that have been made to make the game up to date with 2016 in a way, and it's really, really a great game.
Excellent. So, just kind of finishing, obviously that was Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past. I hope you've enjoyed